Hello, Terracon4 here. Today I am going to show you about my new product, drop pods. This one's more of an art asset type, with various drop pods meant for being dropped in from high places like orbit or high-flying aircraft. For the most part, some simple meshes for three different types. The man type, a large cargo crate type, and a smaller capsule type with a lid lift in it. Here they will be dropped. In addition, the man drop pod also has the ability to break apart when it's landing by changing its physics asset, allowing for mid-air burst open types of effects, as was popularized in a few different types of games. It's worth saying that, generally speaking, all of the audio, decal, and other effects beyond the meshes themselves should more or less be considered temporary or purely for demonstration purposes, as well you can use them, you'll probably want to change them out, especially the audio. Here we have the overview map where you can see the individual assets that you'll have available in this package. First is the static meshes. You've got the individual parts that make up the drop pod 3, the various door meshes, as well as a optional floor mesh, and then the main crate itself for drop pod 2, and then the main moving parts for drop pod 1. Over here we have the skeletal meshes, where you can see which meshes are available as skeletal mesh. You'll have one of each of the drop pod types, and then 3 different door types for the drop pod 2. Over here we have the master animations, where you can see cycling through the different animations for each of these things. You'll notice there's a couple different types for the folding door type here, and some different speeds of opening and closing there. Not very much variety with some of these others. And lastly, we have the particle effect, which is used for drop pod 2 when it is landing. The blueprints themselves for the drop pods are all based off of one drop pod master blueprint, and then given a different mesh and a few custom nodes and setups for each one in its own version event graph. The basic aspects of this are that you have a couple different options, such as using a curve in order to actually control how the actor will fall down a spline. This chooses how fast it falls at different points. You got the total amount of time it takes to fall, if it twists or turns while falling down, any noise or effects upon landing. Impact decals were set up here, along with some of the audio for controlling the wind and falling sound. And for drop pod 3, which the player can potentially find himself falling inside of, some basic setup for that as well.